The customer called and said he couldn't move his engine up or down, and it ruined a night on the water for him and his old lady. As you can see, the blue wire is completely disconnected and the green wire is about halfway broken. It looks like too much pressure was put on these wires when the engine was rigged, and through time, vibrations broke the wire. Since this customer paid for the extended warranty, these 4-year-old engines can get a brand new $4,000 trim pump. The only expense the customer will pay is the haul out for the boat. To get started, I remove the splash plate, and I use a pair of Oetiker clamp pliers to remove the tri-lobe pins. And then I can remove the trim sender and get ready to remove both of the tilt pins. Before I remove the pins, I secure the outboard with wood blocks. I like to crack the pin loose with my screwdriver and then tap it out with a longer screwdriver. Now that the trim pump is removed from above, I can remove the 6 Allen bolts underneath, holding it in place. And for the sake of time efficiency, I'm just going to cut those old wires. I really should say half a wire. And then with a little shimmy, the pump will drop right out. With the new pump opened up out of the box, I can apply a little bit of Perfect Seal and install the new O-ring. I like to install Perfect Seal on either side, as well as on the top. And then I can grease up the 2 alignment dowels and the 6 bolts. And then I use a piece of scrap wire to help pull this wire through the housing, and then I'll hold the pump in place while I get one bolt tight. Once those bolts are nice and tight, I'll walk over to the shop and clean the tilt pins. And then I can trim up the trim rams and line them up with the holes on the midsection plate. Once I have them lined up, I'll grease up the tilt pin and hit it into place with a bronze hammer. Once they're lined up, I'll use that same bronze hammer and hit the tri-lobe pins into place. You want to use a bronze hammer or a brass drift so you don't create any dissimilar metal corrosion. And then I can reinstall the trim sender, install new anodes, and reinstall the splash plate. Once I have all that reinstalled, I'm going to jump the pump one last time with my DeWalt battery. That way I can pop off the top cowling and hook the trim pump up to the wiring harness. And once I have that harness tucked back into place, I can reinstall the cowling. Whenever I disconnect the trim pump, I like to double check that it didn't affect the trim limit. With some boats, the outboard can trim right up into the fiberglass. Once I know that's all good, I'll reinstall the rubber grommet that seals the cowling, but allows the wires to pass through. If you like what you saw, please give me a like and a follow, and maybe you can learn a thing or two.